All right, let's jump right in. Today we are talking about the future of work in a world full of AI. We're going to break down the new high-income skill stack that you'll need not just to survive, but to really thrive. But before we get into it, I've got a question for you. And it might sound a little weird, but just think about it for a second. Why are you watching this right now? I mean, you have access to ChatGPT, to Claude, to a dozen other AIs that could summarize this whole topic for you. You could literally paste the source links into an AI and get the bullet points in seconds. But you're not doing that. You're here, listening to a human. I want you to hold on to that thought, because the answer to that question, well, it reveals everything about where this is all going.
You see, the big fear that you hear everywhere is that AI is coming for all our jobs. And yeah, that's a huge concern. But the real threat, the thing we should actually be thinking about, goes so much deeper. AI isn't just coming for our economic function, it's coming for our meaning. For so many of us, our work is our identity. It's our purpose. It's where we get our sense of status. So what happens when that just goes away?
To really get a grip on this, we have to look at how we got here. Let's do a super quick history of meaning. For most of human history, let's call it Act 1, meaning was simple. It was handed down from up there, from the gods, the kings, the scriptures. Then, boom, Act 2, the Industrial Revolution. Suddenly meaning was out there. It was found in productivity, in progress, in building things. Then we get to Act 3, the postmodern era we're just now leaving, which basically deconstructed everything and told us meaning was nothing, that it was all relative. And that brings us to today, Act 4, the AI era. Where does meaning come from now? Well, it has to come from in here. It has to be generated by you, for you. Now, this whole internal search for meaning is happening at the exact same moment that our entire economic system is about to get a massive shock. You know, the traditional loop is pretty simple. You work, you get a wage, you spend that wage, and your spending creates more jobs for other people. It's a nice, neat circle. But AI completely breaks this loop. See, if AI does most of the jobs, human wages collapse. And if wages collapse, spending collapses. The entire system that gave us our Act 2 sense of purpose, well, it could just fall apart.
Okay, but this is not a doomsday speech. Not at all. In fact, this is an absolutely incredible opportunity. Think about it. When AI can do almost everything instantly, it makes all those things commodities. They become cheap, easy, and everywhere. So what happens then? What becomes scarce? What becomes valuable? The thing that can't be automated. The truly, undeniably human stuff. Your unique point of view, your taste, your story, that is the new gold. That's the new scarce resource people are going to pay for.
And this whole idea leads to a really powerful vision of the future, which I think is just captured perfectly in this quote from Naval Ravikant. When you've got AI that can build anything you can imagine, and tools that let you learn anything you want, every single person on this planet gets the chance to become their own one-person enterprise. Now, this isn't about everyone becoming a traditional entrepreneur or a CEO. It's about each of us becoming our own unique source of value in the world.
So, what kind of work actually survives this massive shift? It's the jobs where the human is the product. Think about the experience economy, your favorite bartender, a great boutique shop owner, live musicians, or the meaning makers, people like coaches, creators, therapists. Then you've got roles built entirely on relationship and trust, like sales and diplomacy. And of course, high liability and statutory positions where human just has to be the one accountable. What's the common thread here? It's not about what they produce, it's about who they are.
So how do you figure out if the work you do is safe? There's a really simple framework for this. It's called the swap test. Just ask yourself this. If you could swap out the creator, that's you, for an AI, would the final thing, the creation, lose any of its value? If the answer is no, then I'm sorry to say it's replaceable. But if the value is fundamentally, inextricably tied to the specific person who made it. That's your defensible moat. Let's make this super concrete. A generic stock photo? Totally swappable. An AI can generate thousands of them and no one would know the difference. But a photograph by Annie Leibovitz? Absolutely unswappable. The value doesn't just come from the image, it comes from her eye, her history, her choices, her reputation, the whole human story that she's built over a lifetime. Let's do one more example, just to hammer this home. A generic top 5 tips blog post. Completely replaceable. An AI could write that in its sleep. But what about a personal essay from a writer whose journey you have followed for years and years? No way. You can't swap that out. The value isn't just in the words on the page, it's in the trust, the shared history, and the specific life trajectory of that one human being. So let's get really specific here. Your defensible moat, your unswappable value, is built on things that an AI simply cannot replicate. First, your perspective. An AI can analyze your life, but it can't think from it. It has no skin in the game. Second, your energy signature. That's the unique care and focus you bring to something you're passionate about. Third is sense-making, the ability to decide what all this information actually means and why it matters. Fourth, your trajectory. Your life is a story with a past, a present, and a future. AI has no mortality. It has no story. And finally, your taste, your evolving personal sense of what is good and what is not, something that grows with you.
So how do you actually build this moat? It starts with a practical roadmap, your new skill stack. And you really have to think about this as a hierarchy, like a pyramid. At the absolute bottom, the foundation of everything is agency. That's the meta skill. That's the decision to even start, to act without asking for permission. You build that by doing. On top of that, you build taste, which you get by consuming and creating a ton of stuff. Then comes perspective, the ability to see the big picture, which you gain from experience. After that is persuasion, making other people care. And only at the very top, the final piece, is the technical know-how, like knowing how to use AI tools. You see, each layer completely depends on the one below it.
So let's put it simply. Agency is just rejecting the default path. Taste is knowing what actually matters in a world full of noise. Perspective is seeing the whole system. Persuasion is creating value by making other people care. And that technical skill? Well, that's just the vessel. It's the bottle you put the message in.
So here's the bottom line. The old script is finished. Go to school, get a good job, climb the ladder, retire. That whole path is being automated away. But this isn't a threat. This is a call to action. It's an invitation. We're all being pushed off the assembly line and handed a creative toolbox. So the final question isn't what AI is going to do to us, it's what we will choose to do with it. What will you choose to build?